Hello everyone, today's topic will be going over autoimmune disease. This is the top 5 foods to avoid. Without further ado, let's get straight in. First one we want to avoid is processed foods and refined sugars. Refined sugars are especially bad. You don't want to go and get some artificial sweeteners because this is terrible. So I would say if you want something sweet, just go for the organic raw honey. That's literally the best that you can have. Without further ado, so why do we not have processed and refined sugar? This is because it triggers a spike in blood sugar and causes chronic inflammation. Now, I have alopecia universalis and I get chronic inflammation all the time. And this would be terrible. If I was to just indulge in these things, it would not do me any favors whatsoever. On top of that, it increases pro-inflammatory cytokines and oxidative stress. Now, in this world today, there's a lot of stress going on, and you don't need to exacerbate that stress by doing anything like having processed and refined sugar. So another one would be sodas, pastries, cereals, and healthy granolas. All of these things do contain these processed and refined sugars. Number 2 is refined carbohydrates such as white flour, bread, and pasta. So how are these actually bad? Well, these are bad because they have a high glycemic index, which in turn spikes insulin, and this increases inflammation markers. It also damages the gut microbiome and in turn worsens autoimmune responses. Essentially, what you want to do is you want to swap it for whole fiber-rich carbs such as quinoa or sweet potatoes. Number 3, the famous one, which is industrial seed oils. These can be found in the form of soybean, canola, and sunflower. Why are these actually bad? It's because it contains high omega-6 amounts or high omega-6 fatty acids. Now, lots of people think that omega-6 is really good for you. Yes, it can be good for you, but unfortunately, if it's balanced in the wrong way with omega-3s, then it can potentially cause harm. When it has a really bad ratio, it promotes inflammation, and you don't want that. Industrial seed oils have been linked to rheumatoid arthritis, IBD, and metabolic disease, which are all autoimmune conditions. To substitute this, you would probably want to go for olive oil, avocado oil, or coconut oil. Now, number 4 is dairy. Now, this one I didn't realize actually, but you have to be very careful with this type of stuff. So conventional milk, cheese, and butter can harm your health. Dairy basically contains casein and lactose, which cause inflammation in the gut. It basically mimics gluten in its inflammatory effects. I would say to try grass-fed alternatives or organic nut milks. Now, I would say be careful with organic nut milks because you can have lots of industrial seed oils that can come in there too. So I've literally looked at the packaging and you can see on the back of it, it has almost everything other than the actual ingredient that's supposed to be in there. So you have to read the label and read it very carefully. Number 5, obviously we have gluten, which comes in the form of wheat, barley, and rye. What this does is it damages gut lining, increases leaky gut, and intestinal permeability. It also has something called zonulin, and zonulin is basically a protein that's linked to inflammatory flares. In terms of this, you want to consider gluten-free grains like buckwheat, millet, or cassava. I mean, you can also have reduced gluten in stuff like sourdough, but you also want to know what your body is capable of handling. Some people can't tolerate things and some people can. So you do need to keep like a food diary and understand what kind of effects you have with different kinds of food. Thank you for coming to this talk, and I'll see you on the next one.